So I would like to introduce you to Russian name. I'm going to say it. 3Katan RY6Y. I know that's not a 6, but that's just what it looks like to me. This is a player that is, once again, brand new. Account is, well, at least in terms of stats, brand new. This is the main issue I have with this is the main issue I have with bot accounts. Bot accounts, so new accounts should always be scrutinized under a certain amount of battles. That makes perfect sense. It should be it should be fairly very apparent. Now I'm going to pause this real quick so we don't miss the next part of this. Like I said, brand new account, 650 battles, and is like extremely good in all of his premium. So he has premium, 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 premium. And then, yeah, premium, premium. So it's like 8 or 9 or 10 premiums on this account. So it's a fairly expensive account. A couple $100 at this point based on just these alone, if you think about it. In terms of the money, even with the sale, still a couple $100. So these are most likely, like I said before, purchased accounts from a certain country, China, usually, or Russia. And they are just... they're technically not brand new accounts. They are accounts that have most likely had these accounts on them or had these vehicles on them for a long period of time. But they are that we see these strings of all these accounts with less than 1,000 battles that are just these super blatant accounts. The problem is that I don't understand why Gaijin isn't being more aware of these accounts that have sit idle for so long, and all of a sudden they're just now all of a sudden super active. So they were created potentially years ago, and yet now all of a sudden they're extremely active because, oh, I guess that person just decided to come back. Also the fact that the email address would most likely change in association with said account, and it's now changing hands, which, unless you I feel like you shouldn't be able to change emails unless it was specifically requested by, I don't know, Gaijin. Send in a ticket, hey, can I change my email address associated with my account? That would prevent a lot of these account shares with these accounts that are going back and forth. Although it doesn't prevent it entirely, because in reality, the person could be creating the email and then you just have that dead email associated with your account. That would still not fix the issue. So there's a lot of, yeah. See, the guy he killed, the fox earlier, he said weird AF. So wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, for me, it's just, this is turning into a lot of just, hey, we're getting these giant band waves, and hey, these guys are active literally, oh, I don't know, a week later or less on brand new accounts that have a ton of premiums on them that were somehow purchased for what seemingly like no money, and then these guys buy them for essentially like no money, so 60 or whatever dollars. And it's still confusing to me that Gaijin still hasn't done anything about it, although they are still technically selling premiums. They're just, I've honestly bet there's some sort of exploit that someone is exploiting where they are able to buy these premiums in a manner like this. And because Gaijin is still making money off of it, even if it is still them technically doing some sort of cheaper sale, they're not going to do much about it because it's not affecting their bottom line. And so in reality, it's a greed for company that is just going to not prevent them from doing anything about it. Now, what's sad about it is that it's the lack of people listening to the community, which is making me more and more upset that this is continuously getting away with it. The fact that Ash, I believe, is just quitting the CC program, which is kind of sad. Every CC, well, Fly Daily is basically non-existent. Spookson's still active, which I love that he's still active, but of course he is suggesting all these vehicles and, you know, actual historical proof of shell performances and armor packages of vehicles that should make sense, and yet Gaijin still doesn't add them to the game, or is just continuing to ignore actual constructive feedback to certain platforms that desperately need it in this game. There's also actions of the fact that Gaijin is just essentially just ignoring the community when it comes to even simple things out there, like, oh, I don't know, APDS, for instance, which has been essentially broken for, at this point, years. The sound engine, which is, by the way, essentially still been broken for years. The reason why I'm about to go use a sound mod, because I absolutely hate the way the sound engine works in this game because it just doesn't function correctly. And I'm more or less frustrated that there's just so many things that are potentially, that could be added to this game. Granted, I know Gaijin will add vehicles in eventually. The thing is that I don't like is the fact that they are just ignoring an entire line of vehicles like bombers. I would love them to add a bunch of bombers to the game. The problem is it's so lopsided they would have to make an entirely new game mode for bombers because bombers just have no place being facing, you know, fighters that can get up to them unless you spawn them at, I don't know, like way up in altitude. If they do that, then it would be significantly better to, you know, fight with bombers if Hoei spawned at 40,000, you know, feet, and oh, by the way, it would take someone a long time to get up to you. The problem is jet performance seems to be way too high, at least in a lot of regards, and I don't think Gaijin's ever gonna ever add bombers. It'll be, everyone was so excited when they added the F-16 and the F-14. That's cool and all. I want a B-52. I want a B-1. I want a B-2. I want those. Granted, I would rather just have early jet bombers. There's so many cool early... actually, the one aircraft I would love in the game would be something called the Super Tweet, which is a Vietnamese jet similar to the Strike Master. And it would be so amazing for them to add because it would be able to drop a couple thousand pounds of bombs, and they could be easily added to the American tech tree as, like, essentially a 6.7 or 7.7 jet that would be a cool addition to the game. Will they ever add that? Oh god, who knows? I have no idea if they will ever add it. I would love them to add it, but I highly doubt they will. Or, you know, it'll take them a year, or it'll be an event vehicle because it's apparently rare, even though it's not. So there's so many cool things that I want them to add to the game that it's just a wasted potential that they just, oh, let's add all this other nonsense that doesn't make any sense. Oh, let's add stuff to Naval that is just not fun, or it's just a copy paste. Oh, let's add another copy paste event vehicle that you have to grind 50 hours for in a week, and that was worth 13, according to the new vehicle, the new Chinese artillery piece, worth like $13, and people grinded like how much time for it? Why I didn't grind it or buy it. And it also doesn't have a lineup to speak of, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of nonsense this game has in it, and it's just it's wasted. That's why Helldivers is so fun right now. even though Helldivers is getting hell on earth for their shit decisions. So as always, I hope you have a good rest of your morning, day, evening, or night, and have a good one.